We start in the bleak, desolate landscape of West Texas, where the tone is set by Sheriff Ed Tom Bell's narration. He reflects on the changing times, the growing violence, and his feelings of being outpaced by the world around him. This sense of looming dread will haunt every corner of our story. The year is 1980. We meet our first key character, Llewellyn Moss, a Vietnam veteran living a quiet life as a welder. While out hunting in the desert, Moss stumbles upon a disturbing scene: several dead men and dogs, shot to pieces in what was clearly a drug deal gone wrong. Amidst the carnage, Moss finds a briefcase filled with $2 million in cash. It's a discovery that will unravel everything in his life. Moss, though no stranger to danger, is instantly aware of the magnitude of what he's found. But he decides to take the money, knowing full well the risks. This decision sets him on a collision course with fate, a relentless chase that will stretch across the barren landscape, pitting him against forces far more dangerous than he can imagine. Enter Anton Chigurh, a cold-blooded hitman with a unique sense of morality, or rather, the absence of it. Chigurh isn't just a man. He's a force of nature, wielding a captive bolt pistol, the kind used to slaughter cattle, as his weapon of choice. He moves through the world like death incarnate, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. His presence is announced by an eerie calmness, a chilling stillness before the storm. He's been hired to recover the money Moss took, but for Chigurh, this is more than just a job. It's a deadly game where lives are decided by the flip of a coin. As Chigurh begins his hunt, we follow Moss, who tries to stay one step ahead. He knows the gravity of his situation and is resourceful, but Chigurh is not like any adversary he's faced before. The tension builds as Moss finds himself constantly on the move, trying to outwit Chigurh while being haunted by the decision to take the money in the first place. Moss's journey is not just a physical one, it's also a moral descent. Along the way, he encounters people who are pulled into this deadly game, often with tragic results. The money becomes a symbol of greed and the price one pays for trying to outrun fate. Every step Moss takes brings him closer to the inevitable confrontation, but the stakes aren't just about the money anymore, they're about survival. Parallel to this deadly game of cat and mouse, Sheriff Bell tries to make sense of the chaos that's erupted in his usually quiet jurisdiction. He's a man out of time, struggling to reconcile the old ways with the violent new reality that's invaded his world. Bell is our moral compass, and through his eyes, we see the human cost of the violence that has come to define this land. He's weary, burdened by the weight of his responsibilities and the knowledge that he might not be able to stop what's coming. As Moss tries to stay ahead of Chigurh, the landscape itself becomes a character, harsh, unforgiving, and indifferent to the lives caught in its grasp. The desert, with its vast emptiness, mirrors the moral vacuum that Chigurh represents, a place where traditional notions of justice and fairness seem to have no meaning. The movie weaves these threads together, building tension with every scene. Chigurh's methods are methodical, almost ritualistic, as he tracks Moss with a cold precision. Meanwhile, Moss uses every ounce of his wit and combat training to evade capture. But the question looms: how long can he run before his luck runs out? As the story progresses, we see the psychological toll on Moss. He's a man who's grown accustomed to danger, but Chigurh's relentless pursuit begins to chip away at his resolve. The weight of the money he carries feels heavier with each passing moment, symbolizing the inevitable consequences of his actions. Despite his best efforts, Moss is forced to confront the reality that he may have made a deal with forces far beyond his control. Sheriff Bell, watching from the sidelines, is powerless to intervene. He's chasing shadows, trying to bring order to chaos, but he knows that the world has changed in ways that make his brand of justice seem almost quaint. Bell's reflections on the nature of evil and his role in a world that no longer makes sense add a poignant layer to the narrative. As Moss gets closer to the edge, the tension reaches a boiling point. The audience is left on the edge of their seats, knowing that a showdown is inevitable but unsure of how it will play out. The movie masterfully balances this tension, keeping us invested in every twist and turn. We won't delve into the climax or the resolution, but let's just say that the story's exploration of fate, morality, and the human condition is brought to a powerful conclusion, one that stays with you long after the credits roll. No Country for Old Men is a film that asks tough questions without offering easy answers. It's a bleak, haunting tale of violence and survival, with characters who are complex, flawed, and deeply human. The Coen brothers have crafted a story that feels timeless, one that resonates with the harsh realities of the world we live in.